Okay, so episode 3, The Angel and the Shaman.
Yes.
Hello, Jo Beth Eckerman.
Laura Goslin Harris.
How are you, my shaman friend?
I am good. How are you, my angel friend?
Oh, I am fine.
Good.
Yes, I'm a little tired.
I see you just went a little octopusy there, too. So this is just the octopus face showed up.
Stop
beautiful.
talking about my pussy.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There you went, man.
There
Not
we go.
even a minute in.
Yeah, let's go.
Ooh, and I set her
get
up
in that
bad.
car.
That was bad. Okay.
No,
Right.
you did set me up. Unfortunately, it is an octopi, though. And if you don't know what we're talking about, the octopus is my spirit animal. My sentinels are sperm whales. Don't judge. They're lovely.
You could not have two more perfect.
I know. And then I feel like I'm always surrounded by angels. 6 of them specifically.
Yeah.
Sandalphon is like if you look at it like directions, it's like the earth. Sandalphon's the earth, and Metatron is the universe, the sky. So that's like below and above. And then around me, in any particular direction, I should know this. And then the answers probably irritate at me for not knowing. I've got Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, and Michael. I think they change around depending on what I need. If I need an avenging angel, then I throw Michael in the front. If I need someone that's like, let's work this problem out, it's Uriel. Gabriel is like the super creative Gemini. And then I'm not really sure. I think Raphael's just really artsy.
Cool.
Very cool and sexy.
That's good.
I don't know.
I think all
Don't want to
angels are
define
sexy.
you
It's okay.
guys. I'm not telling. Sandalphon just is always there for me no matter what, and Metatron tries to help me think smarts.
Good.
Anyway, okay, so welcome back, episode 3. 3 times a charm.
Okay, let's do it.
Last episode, we talked about lots of things, and I'm sure that when people start sending in questions, we're going to get some more stuff like, what's an alchemist?
Right.
Am I an alchemist?
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course, whatever. And I'm sure because that's really interesting. That consumed me for years working with you. But we talked about if it was just anyone right now dealing with whatever, what would be like your first aid kit? And so let's recap on that. What was your number one thing about the first aid kit?
Soul care, spiritual nurturing.
Right, taking care of
your
yourself.
spiritual self.
And taking that
30 seconds, 1 minute, 4 minutes a day, whatever it is, a little bit. 2 times a day, 4 times a day.
So really quick again, let's just remind our listeners, what does that mean?
It means that if you begin to understand that you are the co-creator of your reality, then you really want to get very conscious of what you're putting into the field.
Right.
And what we have others and your own energetic field. And what we were talking about specifically last week is parents getting prepared to send their kids off to school. Mm-hmm. This is a particularly anxious school year for parents and children.
Right.
And so it's just so important. I even when it comes to children, if we just go there for just a minute, soul talk. We don't talk to our children as though they're souls and body.
Right.
And it's the most important thing that we need to do on a constant basis for them.
Right.
And a lot of that is sitting present with them without trying to fix something or make it go away or, hide it or deny it. To just really be able to sit in all of their emotion and then help them modulate it, help them work through it, right?
Right.
That's actual real soul work right there.
Right.
The emotions being driven by something, help them figure that out within themselves and redirect that energy from fear to trust.
Right.
One thing that you've called me on a couple of times this week, and it's been perfect, is that you've really learned to not put fear in the energetic field of your children.
Well, I've learned it. Sometimes I still break that rule.
That's
Correct.
Right. It takes a while, right?
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we know that fear for you is driven by acceptance and non-rejection.
Right.
Connection with others. And so as parents, it's really important we get aware of our own issues and triggers, our own wounds, and not project them on our children. And when you're able to just sit with your child and begin to know them from that deeper level of themselves, then you actually start to be able to hold them capable better.
Yeah.
Because your daughter is a shaman.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And an elven warrior.
And maybe a fairy in there.
There's a big fairy in there. Yeah.
Big old fairy.
Yeah, big fairy. And when you kind of start to see her from those terms, you shift much more easily into saying, her soul's guiding this. I need to trust that it's got a plan and a way of executing the different plans that are really designed to help to challenge her to grow.
Right.
Not hurt her, not wound her actually, right? But to actually help her grow. That's where we start to convert any of our victimhood, any of our sense of being wounded into, whoa, wait a minute, this is bringing out my greatest powers.
Right.
So, yeah. So soul nurturing yourself and being able to soul nurture your children.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just taking yourself out of like when things are all hairy, just taking a moment to realize I'm still made of stardust, and I'm still
yes
just a magical part of this reality.
Yeah.
And for me, and it doesn't have to be for anyone else, but like I gotta tell you, like for me, acknowledging that, being grateful for whatever is happening and seeing it as a blessing is so much better than trying to mentally figure it out or emotionally figure it out. Just going, okay, I can't, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I cannot wrap my head around some of my friends and their positions on being vaccinated or not vaccinated. I am vaccinated, and I would say I'm pro-vaccine. I am whatever. But instead of being so frustrated with my friends, finally I was just like, a good friend of mine is really not. And I'm like, okay, and she was so upset because she felt like she was losing all her friends. And I finally just said to her, I really felt like I went, how can I be grateful about this? What I am grateful about is that at least with my friend, I'm learning what the position is that she's in. I'm not saying they. This is my friend, and she's a very intelligent lady. And so I'm not saying anything bad about that. But I'm grateful that I can feel compassion to her and just go, I'm your friend now, I'm your friend in the past, and I'm being your friend in the future. Good. It doesn't matter if we don't agree.
Absolutely.
So that was something I learned. But like for me,
I mean, we can cut through so much of what's happening right now by choosing to see behind these bodies, to see within these bodies.
Right.
To really get that we're souls in this silly skin suit, right?
Right.
And really just go to it almost puts you in an instant place of, I feel suddenly compassionate.
Yeah, it's like Reiki, where you're like pulling that. You're a conduit of the energy.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but it's still, there's times when you just panic and you feel that post-traumatic stress or whatever you're feeling, and you go to a place of fear, and then you think you have to fix everything. So you try and use your brain, and you try and use whatever you got, and then you have to go, oh wait, okay, hold on. Yeah. And I do that with my kids all the time, where I'll be like, oh, okay, well, tell me about your day. And then they tell me about their day. I'm like, I'm going to go write a strongly worded letter.
Yeah, right. It's like, go to defend, but that's the exact opposite of what they need.
No, I mean,
most of the time.
Exactly. And like in my situation, like even just today, my little girl had her first, and when I say little girl, she's 12. Yeah. But she had her first day in junior high in person. And she did it. I didn't do it for her. I didn't fix it for her. She was terrified. She walked out of the car and she got in that building.
What a difference.
She didn't call me once.
What a difference from 3.5 years ago in a parking lot.
Yeah. So, but her approach is completely different from mine. Completely. A very shamanic approach.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say what it is, because I just want to protect whatever she said, but I have to tell you, the way she approaches people is not how I do it, and I completely love and appreciate it. It's so much, and instead of trying, I caught myself trying to say, maybe, and then I was like, okay, no, you just do what works for you.
Good.
My son's the same way. My son is so different. he's so much. They're both just the kind of people that they're the wait and see when it comes to friends. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, not the octopus. The octopus mother
everybody's our
says,
friend.
everybody's our friend.
Yeah. But anyway, so okay, so if you're listening, maybe you're not listening anymore, but try to listen now. What we're trying to say is that the best thing you can do for yourself, honestly, seriously, is to take 5 minutes to take off your shoes, go outside, and just say, okay, I am made of stardust, and I am a creature I am a soul in body, and I'm good at what I do.
And I'm connected to the earth.
Yep. And I'm going to look at what's happening right now as a lesson, and I got this. And even if I don't got this, I still got it on some level. Some level.
Well, I always say Jesus died on the cross. And then suddenly we all became martyrs. And we're not supposed to be. We're not supposed to be here experiencing all this pain and drama. And what you're talking about doing, and when you do that, exactly, walk out. Take your shoes off. Join with the earth. Your energy field already is. Join with the universe. And think about it from a completely different perspective. This is not a punishment. I don't need to do anything right now to win favor with God. I already am connected.
Right. You are.
I am already loved. I am love.
We don't realize that we have a plug that you can plug in. It's already plugged in.
It's already plugged in. It's
you
always
just
plugged in.
gotta push a button.
The only reason we don't think it's plugged in is because we get the ego on board and we get doubt and fear in. And that actually doesn't truly at all diminish the amount of light and energy that is pouring into us and is coming through us and that we are part of. What it does is it diminishes our ability to perceive it.
Yeah, and perceiving is it's tough because the perceiving is kind of brain. It is brain.
It's all brain. Perception's all brain. Knowing is heart.
Right.
Perception is, now we have 2 eyes that we're looking through.
Yeah.
We have a nose that's smelling. We have touch. We have hearing. That's the perception. And if you think about it, it just divides it all out. Versus going, I am just this.
Yeah, okay.
All that. Yeah.
See, now this is where you get me grumpy, and I say, why the heck? Who chose this? Who chose this damn form?
I get into this conversation so often with people, and it's lovely. What the fuck are we here for?
Well,
what?
Okay,
if
but
it's all an illusion,
like
it's all a dream.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
you know where they say, choose a form, and like, don't think of anything, and they chose the Stay Puft. Okay, so why do we have to have all these impediments to understanding and realizing our awesomeness, Joe Bass? Why? That, and it takes me down that rabbit hole where I have so many questions. But like, seriously, what tinker person screwed up and left the tape on inside so that the ego is like this Tupperware that keeps us from understanding that we don't have to reinvent the wheel constantly, that we just can plug in? What great craftsman.
Well, a lot of people like to blame it on Lucifer, right? The fall of Lucifer. But that ain't it.
That is not it.
Yeah, because
have you watched that show on Netflix? Because he's lovely.
Baby, he's lovely. That man. Woo-wee. And he sings and he plays piano.
Oh, I just love him. I can't remember his name right now, but oh my goodness, what a pretty.
I don't think I've ever known his actual name.
Doesn't matter.
It's just Lucifer to me.
Just Lucy.
So, Lucy. So, why do we create this? And by the way, we have chosen this. We have created this. Why is it when we're just pure bliss and love and light and connection that we would choose to come into the space? And when we lower our vibration and coagulate that soul history and memory and plug it in and form these bodies, what happens?
I don't know. You tell me.
We start to go into an experience of separation.
Yes.
And
so irritating.
That separation is often very painful. Sometimes I get that sense, especially when I work with people, if I'm bringing them in, through a birth vision, they're going, what the fuck did I choose? What? Those parents? Wait, what? And they start to re-experience probably a lot of what they did experience at the soul level, coming in and coagulating into matter and forming a body, right? And it's those initial feelings that begin to, in a physical body, plant in our memory.
Right.
It's the memory of emotion, which is far more potent.
It's very potent. It's very potent.
And we will tend to create stories around emotion.
Right.
And look at the stories we've created around the emotion of the pain of separation. Look at the stories each and every one of us have created. And then we collectively share and create more stories.
Yeah.
And voila, here's what we have. All of these cultures, all of these pods and communities and individuals riding around in their pods, all separate, all living in their own reality, which, by the way, your reality is a product of your projections. Your reality is the product of the lens that you're shining your light through. And what shows up on the outside of you is based on your beliefs and your experiences and your hurts and your wounds.
Well, see, okay, so if that's happening and it's created from the emotions that occur in the womb, right? Which is also
or prior to.
Prior to, okay.
Even prior to.
Okay, yeah, because you talked about that too.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, I wonder, as a soul, we come down choosing our purpose, and then we coagulate into I like that term. We're coagulating
into molecules.
I'm feeling very coagulated right now.
Physical bodies.
So when that happens, how much of the human experience can deter you or not even deter, just screw up the path that the soul chooses? You know what I'm saying? Let's say my soul chooses to come down and work on being unwanted. I can't remember all the ones right now, but
that's one of the major ones. Yeah,
I know it's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big theme for a lot of people.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I guess
many adopted children, many souls who've chosen to come through the experience of adoption.
Well, let me just say, guys, my parents really wanted me, and I have actually a really nice relationship.
Yeah, and that's soul.
Right.
That's soul contracting. Soul contracting to come into a mother who would choose to give you away, which is fantastic, fine. It's always
yeah, and my birth mother's a lovely lady.
Exactly, and you know your birth mother, and that's fantastic. And it's that soul contracting on the other end with parents, right? With two people who are going to raise you, even though they're not your biology.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of answering my own question on this one because I feel like the soul itself does choose the problems it wants to work on for the collective. That's kind of, if we're getting too weird for you guys, sorry, this is what happens.
Right, so any particular one of us working on a major theme about abandonment and rejection, you are at the soul level connected into everybody else in human form here on this planet at the soul level who's working on that same theme. Right? And that's a way you vibrate similarly. And if you heal yours,
it helps everyone.
It helps everybody.
Right. And I know for me, being an adopted child and then being a mother of two children through adoption, it's been so wonderful because I have so much gratitude and towards the birth families of my children. And I remember when we first adopted our children, me and my husband, people would say stuff like, we had open adoptions, and they'd say stuff like, well, I can't imagine ever doing that. I'm like, well, these people that did this were incredibly gracious, kind, loving, just, they're making such a sacrifice for their child, and we are so honored to be the people they chose to raise their children, because it's still their children.
Exactly.
And I was lucky enough to be with my daughter when she was born, and I remember the nurses kept looking to me for my
permission,
help.
approval.
Yeah, permission. I just kept saying, I kept saying to the nurses, my daughter's mom is the mom. I have not adopted her yet. Please listen to her. And I was just there for her. And so Yeah, okay, I've answered my own question on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get derailed on your soul's purpose. It just happens in huge ways that you can't
And look,
understand.
that's one of the illusions of this human experience at this level at least,
you're
right?
right,
When we get to 5D, we're not going to have all these fucking issues.
Okay, I don't even want to go there.
So
I don't
tired.
even understand that.
I do love it too. It's
Too
just
tired on that one.
So yeah, I mean, these are the challenges we choose. Now, back to that bigger question. Well, okay, but so we're really capable of healing all that. We're really capable. We're built to get through that and accept those challenges and expand our soul.
Let's go.
And evolve and grow it. And so then what? Well, we're working our way back to the light. We're working our way back to oneness.
It's a source.
Which always makes me question, so how many times have we done this?
Yeah.
How many times?
Maybe we should watch that
done this,
Matrix
right?
Resurrection. Maybe that'll tell us something.
Maybe.
A good friend of mine didn't even know that was coming on the television, on the movies.
Yummy.
I just had to tell him and show him the
I think I'll like that better than the whatever wick ones that Keanu's been doing lately.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah.
No, they're great. They're fun when you just need a little bit of violence.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, that's not something I need every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just really went off tangent, but here's another big topic I thought we could bring up. So you get to a point, like today, I might start crying. Today was like this moment where my family has really worked towards this, and both my kids were in school, and I'm so proud of them. And it wasn't easy for them, and they still did it, and I'm so proud of them. So as I drove off in my Honda
right.
or my Toyota,
No more
RAV,
blue whale.
yeah,
The
whatever,
singing Toyota.
yeah,
Yep.
with our new puppy in the car.
Yep.
I didn't feel this overwhelming sense of like, oh, it was like, oh, WTF, what happened? And I do have to tell you guys, like, the whole time I was worried my kids would call me and say, I can't do this, come pick me up. And then I felt this overwhelming sense that I had let go of some things, and my body was shutting down just a little bit, like somebody was switching off some switches. So here's the thing, I've told you this, like, I plan on taking this moment, and instead of going backward and going, oh, look at everything that we've done, or whatever, I'm grateful for it, but I don't want to be grateful and like, I'm going to spend time and write a sonnet and orchestrate something. No, I'm not going to wallow. I want to move forward. So for people that you have to recognize when big things happen, but I guess the point is like once you've accomplished something, like you kind of have this sense of, well, what's next? And you have, I guess my thing is like, how do you combat the feeling that, well, okay, we did this, but there's another big problem just lurking around the edges? Because I don't really feel that way, but I don't want to feel that way either. Like constantly looking for the next crisis, right? You see what I'm saying?
Right, and there's another thing about coming into human body and believing in separation. That is absolutely a part of something that we seem to create in this human experience, is that we get geared to deal with stress and problem solving and just making it through it and expecting more of the same.
I think in some ways, honestly, I'm addicted to that because I'm so used to it.
Many people are.
And so I don't...
Our neural systems can anchor in and basically be written to it so that it's familiar and comfortable.
Right, and it is. Like, I have to tell you, being stressed out and worrying all the time is comfortable. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm yeeting myself out of that so that I don't feel that way. And I think I'm not alone. I mean, I feel like lots of people feel that way. And so, yes, I'm pretty lucky. I have you as my friend and my mentor. I do stuff to help pull myself out of those conditions I create for myself.
Those patterns and conditioning, those limiting beliefs, those things that you've inherited from your parents and their parents culturally. It's so important. I call this one of those anchoring moments. You take your staff and you Stab it into
do
the
Gandalf
earth,
in
and
the
you
Gandalf.
go, all right, from this point forward.
Right.
And a lot of that also has to do with, we're talking about being conscious, taking care of yourself at the soul level,
Right.
nourishing yourself, and it's really a lot more simple than a lot of us think it is. It's very simple. I'm saying under 5 minutes a day you can do your spiritual nurturing.
Right.
But when you set that staff in the ground after this long haul experience you've had
Yeah.
around all this fear and worry, and you say, I am done allowing that to rule my mind,
Right.
You're making a choice there. You're making a choice.
Right.
And at that point, there's all sorts of other things that can help you get more fluid and fluent in your ability to do that. But really, once you set that stake in the ground, you have to choose and re-choose.
Yes.
Sometimes 20, 30 times a day, because you start to become more consciously aware of what you're thinking, what's rising when you're triggered, right?
Right.
So that you're not giving your energy and power to that past.
Right. Because the triggering happens all the time, and it's like you can recreate the stuff that you've just gotten through.
Because you're always projecting.
Yeah. You can
And
do
you
that
are
all
the
the time.
co-creator of your reality.
Right. And the
So,
universe is
boom.
going to be like, wait,
Boom.
listen, you gotta learn this. You gotta learn this. I'm going to make it worse.
Yeah, and we are emanating all the time. So what we're focused on, it's like a laser, right? We are very much like a laser. And what you're focusing on and is emitting out of you is attracting a match to it.
Right.
It's always attracting. Like attracts like. Number one universe, rule of the universe. Like attracts like. So if you're considering making a choice now to put the staff in the ground
Yeah.
and not refer to the past and not let the past run you by default, you're thinking, you're feeling, you're emitting, therefore creating, you got to stay really consciously aware.
Yeah, you do, because
And re-choose.
that
Choose.
applies to all things.
All things. All
for
things.
me, it's just making sure that I'm not seeing my kiddos without all the. I have to see the growth that they've made, and I have to recognize it and honor it and be grateful for it.
Yep.
I have to constantly pull myself back, make sure that I'm not over mothering, and let them flourish into the beautiful little creatures that they are.
Let their souls come
And that can apply though to like relationships. Like you have
It
friends.
applies to everything.
Oh my
Yes.
God, how many friends do we have? Who are like, oh my God, they dated this, or they're dating the same person, or they married the same person, or whatever. And it's like,
As their parents, right? As their wounds,
yeah,
often, right? Yeah, because they're attracting a match to it.
it's like our country constantly.
It's
making
really,
bad choices.
look, it comes down to the conscious awareness. Because if you can maintain consciousness and not go to default or unconsciousness,
Right.
now you've got a real shot at shifting the reality around you.
Yeah, and I think with what you're saying, I just want to make it clear, but consciousness is not just the intellectual version.
Not at
of
all.
it. It's
Not at all.
In fact, your brain will try to fix stuff all
Yep.
the time,
Yep.
and it always just it's pretty much just like I can fix everything. I am my own.
So talk about the science of the brain versus the heart.
Well, the heart has the megahertz or whatever. Sorry,
3 times the hertz.
I'm just really tired.
Yeah.
I got up very early. But no, the heart, I believe that the heart and the stomach are the real drives. And your brain is just like this great little laptop that they use, but sometimes we put that as being the first one.
Yeah. Which
And that's
is
because I watched Star
exactly
Trek and I
opposite.
fell in love with Spock. And I married Spock, so that's fine. I didn't really marry Spock, but
Actually, you kind of did, but
yeah, my husband's
he's,
like
he's a really super sweet spot.
I'm more like William Shatner.
Yeah. So the science, remember, is the brain's hertz is 1.7,
And when we say hertz, we
1.9.
mean HERTZ.
That's right, not HURTZ.
I'm kidding.
Z, yeah. So hertz is in hertz frequency. So the brain is 1.7, 1.9, maybe with somebody like your husband's intellect, little over 2 hertz. The heart, on the other hand, can go, it's been measured as high as 4.8 hertz. Most of our hearts are about 3.8 to 4.12. So we have a processing capacity, an information processing capacity, and receiving capacity 3 times the level at the heart versus the brain. The brain is actually a poor problem solver.
I know.
The brain, when we try to function just from our brain, we actually reduce the bandwidth that we're operating on. We reduce our energy field.
I know what that's like.
We start to focus in on the problem. But the ego is more associated with the brain as well. So the ego gets involved at that level. When you drop to the heart, that drops away and pushes off the ego, or at least pushes it out a distance. And now you've got a super processor. Right?
Right.
So that's important. That's important.
It is very important.
So if we function from the heart, there's actually Heart Math Institute. Can't remember if we mentioned it in prior podcasts.
We should mention that.
Heart Math Institute, go there, go to their website. The science now that they've been doing since the late 80s is off the charts. It's actually some of the leading research that we have. You know, they're the ones that actually have proven the heart's energy field is massive compared to anything emitted from the brain.
That's a really great tool for people. Also, another one would be 10% Happier. I think it's a relatively free app.
Oh, good.
Any of those Calm or anything like that can really help.
Yeah, those are super helpful these days.
But you don't need an app, though. You can just go outside and look at a flower and realize that you're made of the same stuff.
Exactly. Just unplug. Literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Unplug. Some of the greatest researchers, educators, and scientists right now are giving this advice. 5 minutes in nature every day.
Yeah. 5
minutes in nature. Breathing, gazing, connecting, right? That's just, it gives your brain a reset.
Yeah.
Super simple. And kids, please make that 50 minutes a day. These nature schools right now, they've sprung up in this area. I am so thankful. We have children now that going to these beautiful school programs that are children directed, right? So the teacher's following the pod of children around. She's focusing on a topic, but they're exploring nature and each other with these questions and these curiosities. And these nature schools allow children, 7 hours of a day outside the entire time. Yeah. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, they're outdoors. Yeah. And those children are very well adjusted. They're operating at 3, 4, 5 years above their normal age level in maturity and emotional maturity. It's amazing. This is nature.
I know. It's like, who said that we should all stay inside? Like, it became a thing.
Look, that started with the puritanical, the whole get rid of the earth religions and the earth spirituality and conquer that and shift it into this. And the one I was going to say this earlier, in fact. This fits in perfect again. If we could look at all of what we've created as silliness, as strange, totally 180 to who we really are, then you're starting to realize the truth.
You might want to watch that show. Did I talk about this already again? Did I talk about Midnight Gospel?
Oh, Midnight Gospel, right on. Yeah, I think you did in the first podcast, but
that
yes, Midnight Gospel is fantastic.
But just
my
comedians in general.
Stepdaughter introduced us all to that. It was fantastic.
Even Monty Python or any of the good comedy shows.
All of those great things that get you to stop and go, what? Wait a minute, why are we making this so difficult?
Right.
Yeah, because it's just not. It's just not. And that goes back to the purpose of why we would do this. And
I still don't know.
I personally love the body. I'm not so happy with Earth right now. I mean, as far as other humans. But, that's where we're at. This is what needs to happen. It's what needs to show up. But I love that I can taste and touch and feel,
It's pretty remarkable.
Smell and hear. Went to a great concert last night. It was so nice. And to just have all of this perceptual perception and all of this ability to have this expanded awareness. And I think on our journey through now and into this higher dimensional place that we're heading, that we're going to learn how to continue to stay in these bodies, but emanate higher frequency so that we can start to come together and collaborate and co-create together in conscious societies. Wouldn't that be just lovely? And don't you notice the movement? There is a movement afoot for this to show up.
Which one?
The conscious communities. The local farms that are, now farm to table and organic and conscious farming, right?
Yeah.
So we're coming back into that. I have conscious soul memory of being in those kinds of communities a long, long time ago. And I miss it.
We'll have to talk about that. It definitely falls into the weird transitions our human consciousness seems to have. We'll have to talk about that at another time, though, probably.
We will.
I think we've been talking long, and our listeners are probably getting blown away at this point.
Yeah, we're tired. We've probably lost them at this point.
Yeah, but I guess when you're talking about the conscious communities, I just think about improv. And I got to do a lot of improv over the years. And I talk about the improv shows, guys, where you have many people on stage and you just make everything up together. And there are moments when you're flowing with your friends and on stage, and you do have this collective consciousness. And not just with the people on stage, it's with the audience too. So when you talk about that, I just think about that, and it's a trust and a conscious collective knowledge, and then all of a sudden you get this moment where you say something and everyone goes, "Oh yeah!" And so that's what I look forward to. And it's so funny because the silliness. Yeah, I definitely.
I think that's some of the best connection and communion we can have in the physical form.
Yeah.
Is coming together and getting that actual shared feeling of yes.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people will be like, well, how do you do improv? And it's like, you do it every day. Every time you talk to someone, you're doing improv. Yeah. It's just that you don't realize it because you think it's so magical. But any good improver will tell you it's just really, everyone does it. But any hoodle. Okay, we talked enough today.
All right.
I'm tired from being a mommy.
You're tired from being a mommy.
You're tired from being a mommy.
Yeah, I'm tired from having to do the logistics to bring my mom up here.
Yep, you're doing some good stuff, though.
It's my tired.
I'm proud of you.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. So this is the Angel and the Shaman, and if you didn't get anything from this, we'll just say once again, take 5 minutes out of your day, go outside and just connect with nature. That doesn't mean you have to,
feed your soul.
Yeah, you don't have to go hug a tree if you don't want to, but it does help. Just sit and enjoy watching nature, whether it's whatever kind of nature it is. Just do it.
Everything's in divine order. Everybody's soul and body, hold them capable.
Very much holding people capable. That's a good thing to do.
Drop the fear. Drop the worry.
That's what shamans tell angels all the time. And then angels tell shamans, yes, this person can be saved. And they're like, All right. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
It's Angel and the Shaman Show.